All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And I'm on the fifth of probably what will be six, or probably 7 or 8 different videos for Chapter 10 of our Java textbook. And previously, I went through and created the iPayroll. Well, I talked about what inheritance was about, then did the iPayroll, then did the payroll.java file, then did the hourly file. All right, and I came in with a driver and started to create, which gave us this down here. Now I want to come in and do the commission. Now what you're going to notice as we go through this is much of the work that we're going to be doing here for the commission class is going to be very, very similar to what we did for the hourly class. But rather than just copying and then making changes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually just type in the new stuff. So, first thing I want to do is, let's see how I did it here, because I like to be kind of consistent here. So, let's see. Yeah, I believe I'll still need my formatting. So we can copy this, our decimal format, and so we'll do this. I'll just grab all of this stuff, and it'll look a little funky for a minute. I don't want to do too much copying, all right? Because I find that to be confusing, and I think a lot of times so do students. So, all right. You may or may not have noticed they asked me if I wanted to import, and I didn't say anything, so I will tell it to import the class and fix that. Okay, so let's see. This will be of type commission. And the variables, this will be sales, and this will be rate. All right, and so this will be commission employee sales and commission employee rate. All right, I've got my decimal patterns, which are fine. I'm going to put another one in here too. All right, and I want to be able to use percentages, because I don't like, for 10%, I don't like 0.1. I want to be able to put in 10 with a percent sign. So I'm going to do that. Now, this is not a decimal pattern. This is what's called a number format pattern. So we'll call this dec pattern for decimal pattern. Equals new number format dot get percent instance. All right, now you'll notice again I'm getting some errors here. All right, it already added my number format. Okay, it added that for me, but it doesn't like this get percent instance. So let's again take our mouse, put it over it, and do an Alt, Enter. It says move initializer to constructor. Don't want to do that. Split the declaration and the initialization. Don't really want to do that either. Convert to thread local. I'm trying to figure out what the problem is here, because I did this earlier. So number format, the name equals, it's because it's not a new. There we go. That will allow me to use percentages, so it'll look a lot nicer when we get to where we're here and we're printing the stuff out. Okay, so let's go in and create our constructor. So this will of course be commission, and don't worry about this, we'll get rid of that for now. But notice now the only error I think I have in here is that we haven't put in the earnings. So super, and this will change because we want this to be double sales and double rate. All right, sales and rate, sales and rate. Alrighty. Alright, so let's come in and automatically, as we have done before, let's generate our getters and setters by doing a code generate. We'll go to getter. We want sales and rate. Boom. Come down here. In fact, let's clean this up a little bit. I guess we don't need it. We need it here. And here. Alright. Now, let's again do a code generate, and let's generate our setters. Again for sales and for rate. Boom. Got those done. Again, we'll do some work on these in just a moment. Let's put that in there. And when we get done with all that, we will need, after our getters and setters, we will need our toString and our earnings. All right. So let's go to hourly. And I want to just see the order in which I put those. So I put toString first, and then earnings. So I'm just going to grab these for right now. I am doing some copying. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. Sorry about that. All right, so don't worry about this. This earnings, that'll have to be changed a lot. All right, and that doesn't look too bad right now. Okay, so let's start to clean this stuff up. So what we're going to want to call here is set sales, and pass in S, which is our sales, and set rate, and pass in R, which is our rate. That's our constructor. That's done. That's good. It's a terrific start. All right, as always, cleaning this up, adding my comments. What did we say here too? We said getter or setter is all we said here, so that's fine. So this will be sales getter, and this will be rate getter. This will be sales setter, and this will be rate setter. All right. Okay. So just doing some cleanup work here. Double, returning sales, double, returning rate, good. All right, now we need, for our setters, same type of thing we did before. All right, so again, let's just grab the one from hourly and make a couple modifications to it. Okay. Don't worry that it's going to give me some errors. I don't care. First thing I want is, again, I'm going to make that an S, and I'm going to make that an S, and I'm going to make this an R, and I'm going to make this an R. Oops. There. Fixes that. All right. Let's paste this in. All right. So these will all have to change to S. Okay, that'll fix all of that stuff. And this is sales. So what do we have? Min sales and max sales. All So what do we have here? If the sales was less than the minimum sales, and minimum sales we defined in here as being 0. So if it's less than 0, or it's greater than max sales, which we defined as being $1 million. So if either one of those is the case, it's out of range. So I'm going to reset it to 0. I'm going to throw a new argument exception, and I'm going to set it accordingly. Okay. And I believe that's pretty much what I want to do for that one. I'm going to go and copy all of this. Paste it in here. All these S's now have to change to R's. And the sales, this will be min, that will be the minimum sales rate, the maximum sales rate. That'll be minimum sales rate, and that'll be maximum sales rate. Okay. So if the rate is less than 10% or greater than 33%, I'll reset it, throw an argument exception, boom, that one's done. All right, so now I want to rewrite toString. So this will become a commission payroll object. Get first name, get last name, same as before. And instead of hours worked, this will be sales. Probably have to add at least that, I would guess, but we'll see. That'll become get sales, and this will become sales rate. Get rate. All right. This is looking pretty nice right now. So what have we done so far? Well, we added a number format so that we were able to put percentages in there for our rate. Other than that, instead of what we had previously, which were hours worked and hourly rate, we now have sales and rate. All right. Our constructor will call the parent constructor, passing in first name, last name, and social security number to get, oh, now that I'm looking at it, I'm not writing out the social security number, am I? Well, I should have done that. So let's go back out to the toString that we had for hourly. And name, and instead of hours worked first, we'll put here soc sec num. Get SSN. All right, that should fix, so to speak, that one. And let me go back because I've made a change now. So let's do a save all. Let's go back to our driver. And now what should change is I should have the social security number between the name and the hours worked. And let's see if indeed that's the case. So we'll clear this, run this again. Oh, and I got an error. Oh, I'm getting the errors because of this stuff. Okay, so the error wasn't on what I was working on, what I just changed. I'll just put it here, return 0.0. That should fix all those errors. Do again, save all, and let's clear this. Oops. No, it's not letting me, but we'll see if we can do it from here. Still giving me an error. Cannot format given object as a number. It's telling me it's in my driver. I've got a problem here in my hourly in line 88. Oh, because I don't want to do any patterns. That's my fault. So that should fix that error. And in the driver on line 8, all right, hopefully I fixed both of those problems. Save all. There we go. So now I've got my name, social security number, hours worked, hourly rate, and weekly pay. So that was a lot of work, but I just wanted to go and make sure that was put in here, this. Okay, and now it is. All right, so we're down to commission, and now we're for commission, we're down to doing our earnings. Well, this is totally wrong now. All right. Because the way that the earnings guy does their commission is actually pretty simple. Just get rid of this whole line. Return get sales times get rate. That's it. Now that's pretty nice. So let's come in and let's put in a, let's do a save all. Go back to our driver now and let's create, in our driver, let's create a new, we've got an hourly guy. So let's call this guy hourly. And then let's do a commission. And then let's call that comp. All right, and that's a new commission. And we'll say that their sales, let's make them $100,000. I think I need one more there, don't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's say that their rate is, let's make it 20%. All right. So this now has to be hourly, and this has to be comp. Put a little bit of line break in between those two. This one should look exactly the same, but I should have a second employee now. Second payroll object, whatever you want to call it. All right, so doesn't like something. All right, gotta fix that. Commission lines 72 and 30. So let's look at our commission. First one it gave us was line 72 here. Well, it actually threw. It didn't like our rate, I believe. No, hourly payroll object at commission.set rate. Doesn't like something in our driver. It doesn't like this line. 1, 2, 3. Well, did I mix these up? Let's see. Should I have had the rate first and then the sales? I don't know. What do I have here? Double sales, double rate. The minimum or greater than the maximum. Less than a minimum, greater than the maximum. The minimum sales rate. Oh, I made it bigger. That's why it blew up. no, that's salaried. Minimum sales. Ah, that should be C rate. That's what's wrong here. So that's not sales rate, it's commission rate. My error, I apologize. All right, let's go back to our driver, try it again. Clear this out first. Let's try to make this nice and big so I can see all of it. File, save all, run the driver. There we go. So, there is our hourly, our commission, sales, the rate, that's formatted incorrectly. And 20% of 100,000 would be 20,000. That's good. So I've got to move that over one and then change the formatting on this. All right, so let's do that. That'll fix that. And we want to put in that number pattern. And I think what do we call that? We called it deck pattern. All right, so let's see if I fixed it. File, save all. Again, let's lift this way the hay up. Run the driver. All right, there's our first one. Still have too much space there. All right, notice hourly payroll name, commission payroll name. All right, hourly Social Security commission. I left the Social Security out. I'll have to get that. Hours worked, sales, hourly rate, sales rate, weekly pay, weekly pay. So what do I have to change here? I have to add Social Security number and get rid of a couple of those line breaks. And this is looking fine. So I'm going to go back to my hourly here. I'm going to grab that Social Security number, just because it's easier to do it that way. Back to my driver here. I guess I really don't need these two \n's. All right, go back to my commission guy here, and after the name, we'll put in the Social Security number. Let's try this one more time. File, save all. Run. All right, there's my hourly and there's my commission. That is looking pretty darn nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is the salaried employee. And a couple things. First of all, because I do want to make sure that I'm not confusing anybody, or at least I'm not trying to confuse anybody. I didn't spend a lot of time going over this because it's so similar to the last one. But we now have added the number formatting so we could use our percentages. Instead of hourly rate and hours worked, we've got sales and rate, because those are the things that are unique to a commission worker. All right. In our constructor, we're still calling super, just like we did previously, and passing in the first name, last name, and Social Security number. But now, instead of set hours worked and set hourly rate, it's set sales and set rate. Our getters, instead of get hours worked and get hourly rate, it's get sales and get sales and get rate. They're both doubles. And our setters, now instead of checking for minimum hours worked or minimum rate, it's now checking for minimum maximum. It's now minimum maximum sales and minimum maximum commission rate. All right. The toString is the same, except it's a commission object now, so instead of putting in hours and hours worked, it's sales and sales rate, and our earnings becomes very, very simple. All right, so one more file, save all. Let's right mouse click on here, do new, Java class. The next one we're going to do is salaried, not salaried, S-A-L, salaried. Okay, so that's this one. Oops. Rather than doing the extends and the implements, which I will do, all right, I'll just leave it like this for right now, and I'm going to stop right here. Okay, and good, this is blank, and I will start with the next part of this program in just a couple minutes.